But I can't think of anything else particularly that was from the light zone anyway. Not that I can think.
Yeah, I think we hit
Oh,
the major ones.
apart from, I suppose, like I kind of not. It sounds bad, but there was Morris costumes there, and there was, of course,
Halloween costumes.
Halloween
Yes.
costumes, and we haven't really talked about them, have we? As such, though, I think that everyone's pretty much covered it. To be fair, but
Hi, everybody. I am Scared Dad.
and I'm Halloween Dan.
We are middle-aged men talking about Halloween, and today we're talking about more Transworld. Now, this is part 2, so if you haven't seen part 1, you should probably go over to Halloween Dan's channel right now and check it out, because it's awesome. We talk about some great stuff, distortions, beastcraft, whole bunch of good stuff. But now, let's get into more Transworld. Let's go.
HalloweenCostumes.com, where are you at with them? What are you thinking? So,
I mean, first of all, compared to where they've been in the past, they're making the presence to be an actual player, I think, for the first time, really. In the past, they were always kind of like too cheap product for too much money. I think this year the lineup is better. I think.
I mean, and there's more to come. That's the impressive part, I think. I think the fact that there's meant to be like 17 brand new animatronics. So, I mean, brand new is probably a bit of a stretch because there is at least, like 4, if not 5, that we had at least seen before in that lineup. But still very good things, good returning things that did return. I think it's a pretty good thing. I think they're trying to step in where Party City has had to step out. They're trying to fill that void a little.
The Party City, Big Lots spot. Yeah. They took the Big Lots props.
They took the Big Lots props. So
probably were some of the best props they had there.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the Saw guy that they did that's new, I thought he was pretty solid.
He was pretty cool. Yeah, very good. Liked the zombie with the spinning arm, was it? Arm was spinning.
Yeah. I didn't like the part. I don't like that the meat part spun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the blood spinning looks cool. But so they should have had the blood spinning so it looked like it was squirting, but it kept the meat part.
Yeah, the meat part shouldn't be moving, maybe not. Yeah. I get, but it's okay.
I like that he's balanced on one leg.
Yeah,
too,
and he was kind of tilting from one side to the other. Pretty cool.
He'd be good next to Rick Ratman because they both have that kind of weird movement,
Definitely. Very cool. I liked the bride, the techie bride.
Yeah.
With the just simple and not overly expensive, but a nice, cool little jump scare. Quite like the way she jumped and the light, the way her whole veil kind of lit up with the UV light they've put on her.
What I would have really liked to see is pitch black backlit.
Yeah.
So that way, when she comes forward and it lights up, that's when you see the reveal.
Yeah.
That's how I would display her.
I thought maybe because she's obviously like a disgruntled bride, so maybe like her hands covering her face in a kind of I'm really sad kind of way, and then that's the reveal, that kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I thought it was going to be at first. But the face isn't necessarily really scary enough to justify.
Yes, I know what you mean.
But I just think if she just leaped forward and lit up, and it was all black before, and just like I said, backlit, I think you can make a cool scene with her. Just doing that.
I think she was impressive. I even would consider buying her if she came to the UK, which she could possibly do because there's HalloweenCostumes.co.uk. So, yeah, it's a possibility. It could happen.
So what do you think of the Brick Thunder props? 12-foot clowns.
12-foot clowns, big no for me. I like, again, if you like your clowns, maybe, yeah. I mean, the fact that they're like 12 or 13 foot, I think that's probably their selling point. The fact that they are so big.
Yeah, I think conceptually, right? Like I can see like the thought was like, well, I see what Home Depot did.
Yeah.
But we could do a better version, bigger.
Yeah.
I just don't think the sculpt nailed it. No. I don't think it's necessarily Brick Thunder's fault. I think
I
handled the prop
exactly
kind of let him down.
Yeah, a little bit.
If you had that same thing with the distortions sculpting, it'd be amazing.
Well, exactly. Well, this is it, and that's where the money comes into it, isn't it? I mean, I don't even know how much these guys were, but I don't know. Clowns anyway are obviously not my thing, but I did look at them and went, very basic looking clowns here with not a lot to write home about, apart from the fact that like 12 or 13 foot high. That's really the only thing that would draw my attention if I was into clowns. Then there was Salivation, which was the guy with the big long tongue. I quite like that. It's inoffensive. I'm not against it or really for it. Again, maybe not something for me, but interesting idea. I like this,
Good.
It did look good. Yeah. I liked the face sculpt on it, looked very good. The fact the tongue kind of wriggled a bit was kind of fun. I quite liked that. I don't know what you'd say he was as such within your display, but, cool anyway.
I think I wish that they had a pneumatic version where you can make the tongue shoot out at you.
Shoot out, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it. That would be 10 times more impressive, to be fair.
Yeah. But it was cool. It was not,
I liked it.
Didn't mind it.
I think I was actually surprisingly impressed by the dragon head. I
like the dragon head. I think the sculpt looked good. I like the fog feature and everything. It's cool that they're taking a, professional style prop and bringing it down to a retail level.
Yeah.
But still making it look good. You know what I mean? Like it still looks pretty quality, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, again, going back to my horn, I can think of 2 or 3 places where that would work. I can think of multiple places in my display where that would work and would be really cool.
Right.
It just didn't. It goes back to that same old thing of, I would then live in my display for a good couple of weeks, just driving a dragon's head, and just like, and then, and that would also lead to a certain divorce, as I would be out in the garden 24/7 with a dragon. So yeah, but cool, like it, very much like that. Yeah, I think very good idea.
Yeah, no, I think that was awesome. Very cool.
I think there was that Tony Tombstones was the other one. Tony.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that's one that you liked.
Yeah,
solid prop. You know, I think maybe
it's got SVI written all over it. It's a classic sort of SVI prop. I don't know, maybe made it look a little bit cooler. I don't know how. I think it's the light up eyes for me. I think possibly if they'd have added a bit of proper eye movement of some sort, that may have taken it up a level. But it's fine.
Maybe the fabric design covering the body could have been a little more interesting.
Yeah, like more like the trousers that were just kind of like brown, obviously to look like soil because this thing's supposed to look like it's come out of the ground. But yeah, I get you. Could have had a bit more texture there, a bit more realism. I think you could add that. But then the only thing is with that guy, so he is available in the UK. I could buy him now if I wanted to. But because it's all shipped from the US, there's still quite a hefty shipping amount on him. And I think he works out roughly at the sort of, I think it's between £500 to £600 by the time he actually would get to me, which this is my big thing all the time. He's not a £600 prop. He's not. Or a $600 prop. He's not. He's a 2 to 3, maybe not even that. Maybe about 2 in honesty. But yeah, and that's the problem. Again, my problem, not your problem, is that's that shipping thing that then immediately makes this not worth it. If it had just been $350, I'd have thought about it. Start adding on another £200, £300. It's not gonna.
You could probably make something almost similar yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is right. Or adapt some of my older props that would basically do the same sort of thing. I've got 1 or 2 props that this year I'm thinking of moving on or changing somehow. And yeah, there's definitely something I could do to basically have exactly the same look with something I've got. So yeah.
You only need something with a talking skull.
Yeah.
Now you just build a naked body with the wood and then just throw some fake tombstones on the back.
This is exactly it. This is it. Yeah. And that's it. When you dissect that guy down to his bare essentials like that, that's where you go, 300, 600, definitely not. So, yeah. But, it's there for someone who got that kind of money and really likes this guy. I don't have anything against him.
No, I totally agree.
I'm trying to think, was there something else in that lineup?
They had the demon guy, which was fine. He's like a remake of the clown.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Fine.
Like, better than the clown.
Yeah.
For me.
I remember hearing that the clown was a nightmare to put together and stuff.
I can imagine.
He's probably the same.
I can imagine them arms are pretty hard to keep upright. I think they look They looked like the sort of thing that would fall over all the time. Yeah, not for me. Liked it better than the clown.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's fine. It's not my thing, but sorry. And then they had the 12-foot zombie, which is basically what we saw at home last year. They had basically the same thing.
It was the mummy, right? It was the was it Lowe's? I think
At home had a zombie version of it.
Okay,
It also had that like electrical light up thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly the same, but it's basically
the same. Yeah. I don't know. I think it was, like we said, it's kind of like a reskin of the Lowe's mummy that was out like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I just heard everybody who bought it was like, and this came broke, and this part didn't work, and then the light stopped working. And I was like, yeah. And it wasn't even that good looking to begin with, to be honest. It was okay, but it was at that time. It was actually that time when I was like, do we really need more 12 months? And I was like, that was one of the ones I was talking about at the time. So, yeah, not for me. Thank you. Swipe right. Is it swipe left? I don't know how you work them up. I don't know. Whichever way you swipe. No, I'm thinking of the Big Lots props. We've seen the Big Lots props. I like the Big Lots props, though. I love that werewolf. I think very basic, but I do love the animation that guy's got.
Yeah, I wish the face looked a little better, but otherwise it's solid.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to have the other Big Lots one that I got last year, of like the ghost thing that lunges forward.
Yeah, he was cool. That was one that like lit up blue, right? It did, didn't it? Yeah, I think actually that was my favorite of the ones that we saw from Big Lots last year. So I was kind of disappointed he wasn't there. But then I've just thought of it. They did bring out that Phantom, which was the one with holding the lantern. So maybe that's why they haven't done that.
Yeah, maybe phase 2. You know?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? We might see that return. I was going to say, I just thought of that horrendous Chucky. Like, it just came like a flash into my brain. I was like, oh, 4-foot Chucky.
Yeah, no. The
Why do you
Annabelle
need a 4-foot Chucky?
also.
Annabelle, terrible.
Okay.
Like, we're not terrible, but
That's
I don't
fine.
know.
It's not my
fine,
thing.
But who needs that? And then there was the Nun as well, which I'm going to say I do think that was terrible. I think that was a pretty terrible, atrocious Nun.
I didn't think the look of it was good.
Didn't look good. And it was the animation, so it's supposed to be like a jump scare, but it was constantly doing it. Like in the footage, it was not like, like how most jump scares will have, like they'll be saying something, I'm going to come get you, blah, 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 blah. And there might even be music build, and then it's release of, she was just constantly doing that all the time. Yeah, if you look at the footage, literally there's music playing, there's like weird, creepy music playing, and there's no like build up, there's no like build to her going, it was just the music's playing, and every like 3 seconds she just does this. And that's the whole point of the jump scare, is it hits you, not you're just watching this thing do that constantly. Maybe it was just the way that it was filmed, but that's definitely how it looked. It was like, I don't get why it's constantly doing this.
Yeah, that one makes sense.
Like a minute's worth of just a half lunge. I don't know. It's weird.
Back to what you were saying about Chucky.
Okay.
I agree. Why do you need a 4-foot Chucky? Like, I thought the Home Depot one was too big last year, and it was cool. But I remember looking at it thinking, like, I don't think he was this big in the movie. And he was bigger than he should have been.
A little bit.
But this one's a lot bigger than he should have been. It's
huge. Like this thing's bigger than, like, Ella's 8, and it would be bigger than her. And it's like, but that's not what Chucky is. Chucky's a doll. It's a doll that's in the film. The kid's like, what, like 6 or something? So, and it's smaller than him. So it's like, it just completely takes that whole point of why Chucky is scary. Chucky is scary because it's a kid's toy that's got a murderer inside of it. That's what makes that scary. If it's just like a kind of, I don't know what that is now, is that it's not a doll anymore, is it? No one has dolls that size. So that now it's just, okay, it's frightening because it's going to come stab me, but it's not Chucky. That's just anything. That's just a 4-foot scary thing with a knife.
it almost feels like they like acquired the license and they're like, well, we can't be Home Depots. So what can we do different?
Yeah.
Well, let's make them bigger.
Let's make him bigger. And also worse looking.
Like he
Just
looks like he got punched in the face.
Punched in the face. Cheap wig. Boom. Like, it's just like, nah. What are you thinking? No, not for me. Even if I liked that kind of thing, I'd be avoiding that like the plague. No, thank you.
Sure.
And I think that's it for them, right?
Yeah.
I think
we talked about them enough either way, except 50-foot Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I mean, there's no way that thing would stay in my yard. I feel like I'd be flying over the town. But...
yeah, that's definitely, but that's awesome, right? I mean,
I can't imagine what that looks like because we have a 20-foot tall pumpkin stack inflatable and it looks huge in my yard. I can't even imagine something more than twice the size. Like,
I'm like trying to figure out how high my house is, and I think the total pitch of the roof of my house is just over 30 foot. So to think of something that's 20 foot higher than my house is insane. Like that, someone said that in the movie Ghostbusters, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I don't know how they know this, but it's like, he's in the movie, he's actually only supposed to be about 60 foot. He's about, that's his height. So we're talking...
I thought it was like 100.
Someone told me like 60 because they were like, he's only like 10 foot shorter than he is in the movie. I could be wrong, but that's what they... And then when I was picturing that, I was like, what? Are we talking like skyscraper height here? Maybe it is 100. That would make more sense.
In the movie, it says 112.5
Okay,
feet.
right. Well, someone's wrong. But I was like, that's still like, incredible.
It's almost half the size, which is...
insane.
I mean, that's the size of a giant skyscraper.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I think if I got that, I don't think there's many buildings in my village that are that tall. I don't think there's any, actually. I think there's like the church tower is probably that tall, and that's it. Like, it would dominate the skyline of where I live. Like, that's...
It'd be taller than all the trees in my area, right? So I live in a pretty wooded area, so I'm thinking like I feel like if you're like on a hill, like miles away, you'd be able to see this thing sticking up over the trees.
Would just feel like, oh my God, it's the end of times. Like, this is incredible. I mean, it's amazing.
It's crazy. But I feel like the whole body of it would take up my whole yard. So
yeah, definitely. 100%. I mean, you've got to have acres and acres of land to make that a plausible thing, right? I mean, and then how do you theme that with anything else? I mean, or are we at the point with that where it just doesn't matter? Like, it just doesn't even matter. You don't even have to have Ghostbusters stuff, particularly. You've just got this huge Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and that's it.
Just the spectacle of it.
Just the spectacle of it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If I had the land, I would have that guy. I would definitely have that guy. And I'd freak out every time there was a gust of wind, but I would definitely have that guy. Yeah.
I can't even imagine how you start to put that away.
Yeah. I mean,
it's so big.
I mean, are we doing the traditional sort of tent roll? I mean, what do we do? That would take weeks to put away that thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm waiting for, definitely at some point in like September or October, some sort of news footage of someone who's been carried away by their 50-foot marshmallow man, caught in a breeze. It was just another
worried about like
day.
Birds landing on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, well,
like pecking on it or something. Or...
I don't know. I don't think I'd ever go to sleep again. I'd be I mean, you'd have to take it down every night, surely. You'd have to.
Yeah.
No. The panic that would go through me every day, I don't think it'd be worth it.
And I just think with my 20-foot one, when we're putting it away, we always find slugs that get on it when it's on the ground. And then they're being like up like, 10 feet in the air or something. Yeah. Imagine the slug is like up 50 feet high. You're like, what's going on?
Oh my God. Yeah. The other thing as well, though, it's like inflatables. That's like I don't know how much that is. Is that like it's like $1,000, right?
$1,000.
It is, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
And inflatables are not very long-lasting things. Like, I'm sure it's got to have the most extreme sort of version of something to inflate it. It has to have, right? But still, they are
I don't
just,
know.
they're just not good, right? Inflatables. Every time I ever have an inflatable, whether it be like 6 foot, 12 foot, whatever, they just don't last. They just don't last very long. There's always something that goes wrong with them. They rip, they tear, the way where they're tethered, they don't, it rips there, or I don't know, or like the motor just stops working because it got a bit damp or something. You know, it's just like, you spent $1,000 on a 50-foot Marshmallow Man and then it died within a year. You'd be absolutely destroyed.
I know. Then the thing with, I mean, for me, it would just fall and cover my whole house. And like, how do I get this thing off my house? You know what I mean? Like,
And then you'd inflate it and it'd be ripping shingles off. And you'd be like, oh no. It'd be like actual Ghostbusters, this thing destroying your house. So, yeah.
but
Cool,
if there
that.
was someone that had it up within like 50 to 100 miles, I would probably drive just to see it up, just
yeah.
to see how big it is.
100%. 100%. If someone bought that, I would be there in a shot just to see it, just for the spectacle of it. You're a braver man than I, you insane guy.
There's gotta be someone that's got the money to say if something happens, not a big deal.
Yeah, I wish I had that sort of money. I wish I had that sort of money where you could just spend $1,000 and if it's dead after a month or it blows onto the local church steeple or something, you're just like, I can pay for the cleanup, don't worry.
Right.
It's no big deal. Whereas no, that's not me. I'd cause it. You'd just cause absolute mayhem here. I think you'd cause mayhem anywhere, but here in particular, I only have to put a 10-foot prop out and people lose their minds. So a 50-foot inflatable Marshmallow Man, people would just, I don't know, it would send people into another dimension, I think. It just, where are we? What's going on? It's crazy stuff.
Absolutely crazy. All right, so real quick,
Go on.
let's jump to Morris costumes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, not a huge amount to talk about of any real worth, if I'm honest. We've talked about the zombie guy with the twitching spine. We've been there.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say the only one that I was impressed by this much was the kind of Reaper skeletal guy who's holding a book and sat. It looked like he was sat on a throne of some description, like sat on something like tombstone throne of sorts. And he had a little jump scare, just a little one. Yeah. That was cool. I would think about that. I would consider that if it was available at a reasonable price. But yeah, he's cool. I like him. But there was nothing else there that really tickled my fancy. Let's just put it that.
Yeah. He had the bat thing where the wings came up. That was okay, but it didn't look particularly great.
No. And then there was a big Reaper kind of guy that also had wings that came out. But did you see that guy? But he didn't have a face of any description. It was just a black hood.
Maybe you could dress it up.
But yeah, you could.
Yeah.
It was very basic, and obviously the whole thing is the wings come out, and it's like, yeah, that's impressive. That's okay. But the rest of it just lacked a huge amount of detail of any sort. So yeah, okay. And yeah, and anything else?
Groundbreaker. The groundbreaking skeleton.
Yeah.
Which I thought looked okay, but one thing I hate so much, the hand holding the lantern is all filled in black with this tiny little wire going through. I'm just like, oh, that kills it for me. It looks so bad.
I thought the exact same thing. I saw it. I thought, yeah, he's reasonable. He's cool. I quite like the eyes. He's a Reaper. You can't go wrong. And then I saw that hand and I was like, oh, what? You couldn't have given it, just molded it a little bit better, just made it look actually like a hand a little bit. Like, no,
Beef
thanks.
up the handle so the handle's wider, make the handle a little tighter gripping.
There's about 10 things they could have done to make that thing look better, and they just got the most basic blow mold that they possibly could and just went, yeah, this'll do.
Basically.
Oh, no. Painful. But yeah, it was okay. I'm a little bit disappointed with Morris costumes. I was a little bit disappointed with them last year too. I think, again, from a UK perspective, because these are one of the few firms we actually do see coming to the UK on a regular basis. So to see that and go, oh, is this it? That is a little disappointing, to be fair. But, you know, the Reaper guy is a bit of a savior. He's at least something worth talking about, I think.
Yeah, he was cool. And the zombie lady with the head is still kind of cool,
Yeah.
but we've already seen it.
Yeah, she's cool. But yeah, I was expecting more. I thought they were really going to bring it to Transworld and they just sort of didn't, which is a shame. Big shame. So I think that's it for everything in the light.
I think.
So now,
yeah.
should we talk about the dark?
Let's do it. Go to the dark side.
Go to the dark side. Yeah, I mean, you start. Go on. Tell me what were your favorites? Where do you want to go first?
My favorites in the dark zone is always Scare Factory. I'm a sucker for those crazy big creatures.
Me too. 100%.
And I think this year, even with them, I thought maybe it didn't quite hit it as well as last year for me. But still very cool stuff. Started out, we had the they look like dancing pumpkins to me. They kind of jump up and down.
Yeah.
They had a whole
I think it was
bunch of
called the
those.
Leaping Goblin Pumpkin or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a goblin king and queen and another one. So they have a few different sculpts. Cool. If you have a pumpkin patch thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, it's fine.
I love all their pumpkin themed stuff. I always do. I think it's really cool. I think they had the pumpkin mantis there again. They didn't
He
really
was there,
make,
yeah.
He was there, but they didn't
I didn't
make
see
as
him
much.
moving, but I saw him in the background.
I didn't see him moving. I don't think they made as much of a feature of him as this year. I loved all the dragons. We've talked about them several times now. They were like obviously meant to be dragon type things. I loved them. I thought they were really, really cool. But again, I think maybe a bit niche, a little bit niche. Like not everyone's going to be interested in dragons. I am, but not everyone is. And they always do this thing where they've got like 3 or 4 different versions of the same character, which is cool because it gives you options.
And it makes sense that they're making these big rigs, so they want to reuse them.
Exactly.
Can we talk about the werewolf who looks like his head got run over? Why is his head so narrow? Right? Doesn't it look squished?
It did as well. I didn't really think of it that way, but yeah, he did look like his head had been run over.
It's the only one I did get. I was just like, everything else looks so cool. His head just looked like a,
I don't know. I don't think I paid too much attention to him. I'm a bit too like drawn to all the big fancy stuff going off all over the place. I tell you one I did really like, even though again I'm so obvious, but it's Reaper again. He's like a Reaper guy that kind of grew up out of the ground. He was kind of on the ground. He wasn't a full-size Reaper. He was kind of crawling up out of the ground and he kind of emerged, did something. I didn't exactly hear what he said, but he sort of says something or does something and then goes back down again. That was cool. That I would really like. I enjoyed that a lot. I like Reapers, obviously. And just that concept of him almost like kind of like a groundbreaker almost. Was really,
so
really
they call
cool.
that the crawler. So
that's
I went on their website to look. So they've got ones that are flying. They get that version, and then they have the crawlers.
Yeah.
The Reaper crawler was awesome.
Yes.
I think out of those, my favorite was the dragon. Because the dragon had the lights and the smoke and the way he came up.
Yeah.
I thought was awesome. That was my favorite dragon. I like that better than the flying dragon.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Because he's coming like at your level, right? So you get this dragon coming at you with the smoke coming out and the light up stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. But the Reaper was a close second. Reaper looked awesome too.
I did quite like their sort of like ram-headed ones. They were like ram-headed characters. There was like, again, about 3 different versions. And I personally liked the one on the big rig with the light up eyes. It was kind of flying around in the corner. That was impressive.
That was my favorite of the flying ones for sure.
Really, really cool.
The Demon Lord, I think.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, Demon Lord.
I think that's what they called it.
Yeah. So, that was a big win for me, that one. I like that. I'm like, where would I put that big rig? I'm like, no. Stop thinking about this like you actually are going to be able to own this. It's not going to happen, Dad. Chill out. I like that one. That one and the Reaper, I think, were my personal favorites. Though I do agree with you on the dragon. I like with the light up mouth. That was definitely a very cool one too.
The Skella Demon Lord is what they call it.
Skella Demon Lord. Okay. Very, very cool.
I think those are the coolest. There wasn't really much else new that they had.
No. Again, we'd seen an awful lot of it, wasn't it? We've seen all like the pumpkins hanging from hands and stuff. Cool. Love them, but we've seen them. They also had the zombie head ones coming back again. I think I saw at least one of them. Really, really cool idea. But again, we've seen it. It's, nothing really new there as such. I think the most impressive things were the ram-headed guys and the dragons. I think they are the winner of Scare Factory this year. Though I don't know whether, again, I don't know what you hear about this, and maybe it's something I shouldn't say, but every time I ever post anything about Scare Factory, all I hear is people saying how unreliable Scare Factory are as a firm.
Yeah, it sounds like they cater towards the big haunted houses, and maybe like a YouTuber like Brick Thunder, when he get his stuff, they get their orders done first. And so you might get your order, but you might not get it in time for Halloween. You might get it months later and stuff.
Get it.
I've seen the same things, and there's a lot of bad talk about them.
Yeah.
But again, I would hope that they'd fix that.
Well, I'm sure they don't do it on purpose. I don't think, like, some people are like, they're scam artists. And I'm like, I don't think they are. I think they, like you just said, I think that they focus on the big accounts that obviously buy multiple things from them. And then the smaller accounts, they may be, smaller buyers are just sort of get kind of left by the wayside, because they obviously, they're making these things from scratch. They're not mass producing them like Home Depot do in their Chinese factories. These things are all handmade sort of things. So yeah, of course there's got to be a bit more of a lag with certain things if there's a high demand for them anyway.
Did you see the video maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe in 22, Brick Thunder did, where he went into the factory?
No, I didn't.
No, it wasn't. It was.
I saw him when he went into the Distortions factory. I didn't see Scare Factory.
Yeah, Brick Thunder went in there, so he kind of showed around. And then I think Larry, from The Darkness, also had one where he kind of was filming in there for a little bit.
Okay,
and it was just cool to see like the skeletons of everything and stuff as they're making it.
Yeah, I bet it's proper impressive. That actually, I'd love to see that myself. How they actually, because that's the interesting part, isn't it? I have to say, as the years have gone on, I used to just be like, "Oh wow, what a cool thing!" and it moves. And now I'm like, how does it move? I want to see how these things move. I want to see the mechanics and the things that are driving it, because it's got to be impressive, right?
Exactly.
Mine's changing. I am becoming more of an engineer.
See, you got to jump in, Dad. You're just going to jump in and try.
It's not going to happen. Honestly, you should. If I shared that video of me with that Frankenstein last year. Oh my God, what an what a shocking thing.
I think you should get an air compressor.
Yes.
Just do a little bit with pneumatics. Aren't that hard, right?
No.
And you could make that Frankenstein pop up so easily.
There's I work for a hardware store, so there's a compressor at work, and it's a used compressor that someone brought back, and I look at it like every day, and I'm like, I can use that. I can do something with that. I could get that. They'll sell it me for like £50. I could have that compressor, and then all I've got to do is figure something out. And I've thought it. I've been there. I've thought about it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Take the dive.
Maybe. We'll see. It's whether I can buy something, an easier option, an animatronic that just does it for me. As if you can just do it for me, I'll just do that. But if I can't, then you never know.
But once you make your first pneumatic, you'll have stuff popping up everywhere.
I know. That's the thing. I would as well. Yeah. Once I figure out how to do it, and it can't be that hard, right? Then everything would be pneumatic. You'd just walk past my house and all you'd hear is pneumatic cylinders going off everywhere. So, is there anything else Scare Factory to talk about? Really? I can't think of anything particularly.
I mean, that's basically it. The only other thing is they had basic pneumatic pop-ups, and one was like a Pigman. Right?
Oh, yes,
that's
they
the only thing
did,
different
didn't
I can
they?
remember.
Yeah, there was the Pigman guy. Yeah, okay. No, but no for me. No from me.
Better than the Squish Head werewolf, but
I'm gonna have to go back and look at this footage of the Squish Head werewolf now, because I don't think I paid enough attention to this Squish Head werewolf now. I think I might want it just because it's got a squished head now. Come and see my flattened werewolf, please. And then we've got Poison. Now, Poison, contentious for me and you. I think we maybe made a bit of a stink for ourselves last year by being a bit abrasive about Poison. What's your opinion? Has your opinion changed on Poison?
I didn't feel as turned off as I did last year.
Yeah.
With it.
Okay. Yeah.
Still watching it, there wasn't a lot I really wanted. Like, that's not so my thing. But they hands down, I think, get the award for the funniest prop.
Oh,
I was dying laughing when I saw that lady lift her dress and that baby come flying up.
Yeah. That was actually hilarious. I
couldn't stop laughing.
I even saw some footage where someone was there with their kid, and you can hear the kid in the background going, "What is that? Like, what's happening?" And it's like, can you imagine having to have that conversation with the kid later? Like, well, she was having a baby, and like, but the baby was dead or muted. I don't know. It's like, and the kid's just like, "What? What is this? Is this the birds and the bees, Mummy?" Like, no, we're not having that conversation.
It was like the scary version of the beginning of Monty Python, where the wife's like doing the chores and the baby just falls out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is brilliant. That was brilliant, actually. Really, really original, really, really funny. And I don't know, I've got this thing about Poison where I've said it before, I'm not into the whole prop. It's not me. I'm not into it, but I get it at the same time. They are incredible. They do look good. You can't look at them and go, they're poorly sculpted or anything. They're not. They are incredible looking things. And there is a bit of, I think there is room in everyone's font for a bit of, that's cool. That is scary. If you're not expecting it, that's scary. There is some really creative things there. I mean, again, I liked the Reaper. I like to say about everything. I like the Reaper. He shot up and his wings open. Very, very cool.
The one that was up high?
The one that was up high. Very cool. And then he had a bit of jittery movement. Cool. But I did have another one that I really liked, which I've forgotten the name of, and somebody told me the name. But it's that woman that was like crouched crying. She's like crying in the corner. Yeah. And then she span around and started freaking out. Cool. Really, really cool. Yeah. I love that.
That'd be scary. Yeah.
That would be scary. Stick that in a cemetery. Yeah. Amazing.
The other one I liked, which I know you'll hate probably, but I just thought the motion of the clown that stands up.
Okay,
with the little hatchet thing.
Yeah.
I actually just thought, I was like, that's a well done clown, and it did a little bit of the crazy, but not as terrible. But I just thought the way he stood up.
Yeah. I like. There was actually one that was up, like that kind of came down. It was like stood up and then it came down towards you, like from up high. That was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty awesome.
How can I forget I thought the one that was my favorite, it was up above high, but it was a zombie that had one arm stuck on the chain and the other arm was like reaching for you.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at that thinking like, oh, that animation doesn't feel like spastic, unrealistic, crazy. That felt like if a zombie had its arm stuck on a chain and it was trying to grab you. I looked at that and I was like, that's a perfect zombie prop for me.
Do you know what I also quite liked? They had really quite simplistic ones where it was like heads on spikes, and there was like one where there was like a crow picking at the eyeball or something. It was just like picking at the flesh. Simple but gory but cool. And then there was another one, I can't even remember what it was, but it just literally blasted air out. I think it was like a pig, I want to say. Is it a pig? It was something. It was like an animal head on a spike, and it literally just blasted air at you. And I was like, yeah, that would get me. Yeah, I'd be looking, I'd be like, oh, look at this gross pig's head. Oh, crap. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. For me, the rest of it is just very all doing the same thing. They're all, and it's picking the better ones, really. It's going, oh, okay, this has a justification for doing that movement. This one, maybe not so much,
Yeah, I agree. I think that like for me, I don't know why I have this thing like about like realism, because there's nothing realistic about anything we do.
No.
But like, like you got you got like the guy on the walker, and he looks cool, and then like the torso comes at you. I was
Yeah.
like, well, it's a scare.
Yes.
But to me, like
No.
as soon as you see that, it pulls you out of the immersion, because
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah.
it's a guy on a scissor
On a
mechanism,
scissor,
you know?
yeah. Which is, yeah, exactly. It's all about the scare, isn't it? It's less about being immersed in the whatever story you're trying to create, and it's all about that impact of the scare, which I get. I
Right.
think it'd be cool.
Just fine.
It is, yeah. But I think as well, I don't know, I think that Poison, I couldn't imagine being particularly interested in going to a haunt that was dominated by props that all did that. Do you know what I mean? Like, the odd one here and there, impressive, cool, scares you, gets that jump out of you. But if you've got, like how they have it set up, obviously they're on show, but if they've got one after another of just flailing arms and screaming, is that scary anymore? When you've seen one after another, you know? But that's just...
And I do think maybe part of my, negative feeling that I had even more so last year, but it's still there, is seeing them all next to each other at Transworld, right?
Yes.
Because you're literally walking through, it's like the same thing over and over. Where, like you said, in a haunted house, it's like every 5 minutes you see one, it's different,
Yeah, exactly. Which is why, I don't want to be too harsh, and I do appreciate that they do incredible looking things that have incredible amount of movement, and it's what I would say 90%, if not 99% of haunters are looking for in their haunt, which is something pretty violent, flailing, screaming, scary, which is, yeah, exactly. But I think I've just always preferred slightly more subtle stuff, not so in your face. Like, I am definitely a scary thing, just like something that makes you think, oh, that's actually creepy, that, isn't it? And I think that's the only thing with Poison. There isn't, it's not subtle. It's not really subtle.
No.
It's about as subtle as a brick to the face, it's really not subtle at all. So
I think they're definitely more professional haunt, right? Like, I can't
100%.
imagine as a home haunter hearing screaming. Like, my neighbors would murder me if that's all they could hear for hours every day,
oh God, could you imagine? I have seen footage. I'm pretty sure it's old footage of Poison props. I'm sure they're Poison props of some guy, God knows where in the US, who's got this yard barn absolutely filled with exactly these things, violent, screaming props. One guy, like a clown with a chainsaw, comes zooming out at you. And I'm watching it going, yeah, that's impressive. I'm also thinking the poor neighbors having to live next to screaming chainsaw sounds for basically a month. Like, whoa, that's intense. Yeah, you will not be getting a lovely little Christmas cake off them come Christmas, will you? You'll be getting I don't know, you'll be getting a lawsuit, probably. Merry Christmas. Yeah, not gonna happen. No. And I think that's it, right? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I mean, there's
always lots. This is the thing about Transworld. There's always so many cool stands of so many cool things. Lots of, cool static stuff. The masks and the costumes and all that stuff is incredible. And I think in the Dark Zone, there was like a couple of other firms, all of which, again, were doing things that I'm not overly interested in. There was a guy in like an electric chair kind of thing and all that kind of stuff. Impressive stuff, but just not necessarily something I'm interested in particularly.
Yep. No, I agree. There's I know there's like killer props, I think, is one of the ones in there.
Yes, they were, weren't they?
They had the guy that pops out of the coffin, or the one that to me looks like a ripoff of the Distortions pumpkin guy.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Which is fine.
It's not
the
bad.
Guy in the coffin was pretty good, actually, I have to say. I quite like the guy.
Yeah. And they had that scarecrow. I think it was them. They had the scarecrow that, like, again, takes you out of the reels and like pops off the post, the torso.
Yeah.
And then at the end, this like pumpkin comes up and blast air at you or something.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Again, they're not
Cool.
bad. I don't want to say these are bad. They're better than anything I can make.
Exactly.
It's just
this is it. Yeah, exactly. Who are we to critique? But yeah, it's just you like what you like, right?
Influencers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, these internet
no
influencers who no one cares about say these horrible negative things. You're so negative. Like, no, I'm not being negative. I appreciate whether it be Poison, anyone who has a booth at Transworld is killing it in one way or another. They're doing something incredible. And, who am I to judge? I'm not judging, because if I went, I would be like a kid in a candy store. Like, my wife would have to remove my wallet from me because I would bankrupt myself. There's no two ways about it. I'd be like, I want that thing. How much is it? Yes, I'll just go and get a new mortgage. It's like, because I would. I'd do that. That's the crazy sort of thing I'd do. But, each to their own. Everyone has something that they like. It's what makes Halloween what it is. The critique is only a critique of it's not personally for me. It's not a critique of this is crap. It's just I wouldn't buy it. That's all. Yeah.
But I also think it's, when we're doing these videos, we're comparing, one company to another. And I think that's
exactly,
it's legitimate. It's not to say what you're doing is not good, but you can look at it and say, maybe what you're doing is not original, right? Like you're kind of following in the footsteps of the bigger companies. And that's fine to a point. But if you really want to make your name, you kind of got to find that next level thing.
Move the whole thing forward. And I think that's it, isn't it? That Transworld and, the firms that are at Transworld, they are the ones that are pushing the envelope. And it's the smaller, not smaller firms, but it's the more like retail firms that they kind of follow suit and follow what these big guys do. I'm not saying copy, no. I'm just saying they take inspiration from what worked at Transworld often, and so you want these guys to be pushing the envelope and innovating and doing crazy things, because only through them doing that does it slowly filter down to the rest of us one way or another. So, I think...
And we get the retail ripoffs.
Yeah, of course, the retail ripoffs. But there's, I like a few retail ripoffs every now and again. I've got nothing against a retail ripoff or two. Not if it gets me an awesome looking goblin of some description that's not as good, but I can live with it.
And that's what I think is cool about something like Distortions, is that they've found a way to bridge the gap, right? Like Distortions has professional level, like the Xenovore, but then they've got the statics that, like, okay, there you go. You got the electric zombie. It's kind of right in the middle. The electric
zombie, which is right in the middle. Like, he's like, was he like $630 or not even that? I can't remember now, but
I think it's 800.
It might be 800. It might be, but still, compared to some of their stuff, I would class that as affordable. That's an affordable quality Distortions animatronic. So I agree with you there. That's really, they've got something for everyone.
Right, for sure.
So
okay,
I think that's it.
I think we've kind of covered it.
I think we've kind of covered it. Yeah. I think we did a good job there.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you didn't see it yet, make sure you go see part 1 on Halloween Dance channel. We'll have a link down below. Talk about some awesome stuff from Transworld. And hey, we hope you enjoyed this. We really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. Remember, spooky season's coming. Go get ready.
And I didn't say it. Yeah! The year's flown. I can't believe we're nearly halfway to Halloween, to be quite honest with you. It's unreal. Where's the year going?
Right.
Scary.
I don't know.
Really scary.
I feel like I'm so far behind already.
I know, yeah, me too. Me too. Oh, dear. Anyway, bud, I'm going to have to go. Thank you so much again.
Yep, me too.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. It's been fun. Yeah.